Welcome to the next installment in Cloudville's Telecom 360 use case walkthroughs. Today we're going to deal with billing. We're going to show you the capabilities around account setup, invoicing, and payments within the system. In particular, establishing billing accounts, establishing customer payment terms, viewing an invoice, applying payments, managing payment arrangements, and configuring system-wide options in the application. Let's begin. Okay, so let's begin. I'll log into the system and we'll go in and take a look at a sample client. Let's say Collingwood Acres. We can take a look. This is the CRM view. We have a view of the customer, his locations, his contacts. What we're interested in today is his accounts, so his billing. So let's begin by taking a look at the billing account and the structure around that. So we have a default account here that was set up for him when we established him as a client based on his billing address, etc. What we're going to do is pretend that he needs a new account. So he wants to split some billing. So we're going to give it another name. Let's just call it secondary account. We can control how the credit limits, basically how much we're allowed him to maintain unpaid on this account. Well, let's leave that blank. We can specify the currency, the validity dates, any terms that we want. Within this system, we've only defined net 30 as the only valid terms, but we can go in and create or enable net 45, and then for this particular account change the billing terms on it. And that's important when we have let's see, RFP based services where we're responding to a large client who's dictating the payment terms, and those payment terms may be unique to them or maybe at least non-standard, net 90 as opposed to net 30. We can control the invoice language, the delivery method. We can actually change the format of the invoice. So we've got a couple formats here, one for subscriptions and one a generic invoice. We could create a tailored version for a specific client, let's say the Citibank invoice layout, again in response to their requirements to us to provide special information on that invoice that satisfies their billing needs. We can control the bill to name, etc. Let's leave all this stuff blank for now. And oops, except for billing address, which is a clear need. So we pick the only address we have in file for them, which is in Collingwood, and we're going to create that. And now we have a choice during ordering as to whether we use the primary account or we use this secondary account. Now, if we take a look at the primary account, you'll see it's defaulted to primary here, whereas all of the other accounts are defaulted non-primary, and that's used during order entry so that the primary account is going to be automatically selected and it can be overridden during the order entry. So let's take a look now at their invoices. You'll see they've got one invoice for service. You can see the order number that generated that invoice. If we open that up, we'll see that they've received an invoice from us for a connected farm solution and some sensors. There's a mixture of monthly charges and one-time charges. And on this particular configuration, you'll see that we're only invoicing for the one-time charges. This invoice was generated when the order was completed. We'll be billing the monthly subscriptions after the fact, so 30 days after the service started. But on this first invoice, we're collecting all of the one-time equipment that they purchased. And that's why you'll see the monthly at 0 with the one-time charges coming up. So he has an invoice outstanding for $87.01. Let me just close this window here. And now we're back into our original view. So we can send reminders, regenerate the invoice, in other words, resend the invoice to the client via email, send this to accounting for review, set reminders for ourselves to follow up on the payments. And all of that can be done from, as you can see right now, within the customer view. So let's apply a payment here. We're on the phone with him. He's told us, well, he's given us the credit card. But if we select credit cards, it's going to ask me for credit card details. So I'm just going to put in a check. The payment date was today, and no special notes. We'll apply it. Now the payment's been applied. So as you can see here, it has now been paid with an amount due of $0. Now let's take a look from the billing department's view. So we're going to open this up. We're going to take a look at billing. And so a billing analyst or collection agent comes in to the system. He can see all of the invoices that have been sent out, or he can take a look at just the outstanding ones. And in this case, we've got these orders. Perhaps he's processing a set of checks he's received, and so he's got a check for this invoice. He applies the payment. The amount is defaulted. Payment type is check, and he's going to apply it. If we were to short pay an invoice, let's say this guy, apply the payment, and let's say he only, again it was by check, but let's say he only paid $50. We can control where it's deposited. In this case there's no options, so we're going to apply that. He only had one account, and you'll see that we can put the partial payments. He still remains on the paid list, but he's got an outstanding balance of $50 less. So you can see it here at the bottom, remaining $51.70, and he's paid $101.70. Now, other options, we can postpone a payment. Let's say the guy can't make the payment. We're going to give him a new date. Our collections agent has talked to him and has given him to the 28th to pay. So we postpone that payment. And you'll see again, he's at the bottom. I guess I selected it's due the 29th. Okay, so you've got an idea of that functionality. We can take a look at all of the transactions that we've just processed, where they went, whether they came in with check, where they applied to account credit, etc. We can take a look at the credits that are on file for these accounts that they can pay from. So in other words, their credit balances in their accounts, and we've shown you the invoices as a whole. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at some of the configuration options in the system. So we're going to go take a look at our configuration, and if we take a look at billing and account management, for example, this is where we control the majority of the parameters at a system-wide level. So you can see whether we send payments or invoices to accounting for their review, whether we revert payments on cancellation, what the default terms are, overdue reminders, do we show pay now on the invoice notification messages, do we use payment reminders, etc. We control the payment methods, whether it's account credit, cash, certified check, etc. When they're permitted, whether it's a checkout, future payments, invoices, refunds, etc., and whether they're active or not. And this is why if you've seen some of the other use cases, you only see the two options, cash or credit card. We've disabled the other ones on the payment checkout. If we take a look at payment terms, the same deal. Net 30 is the only option that's enabled. We have other payment terms like upfront, net 90, net 60, net 45. And as the result of negotiations with your clients, you can create a new payment term. So we just create it, name it, select which one of the supported payment methods are supported underneath that. So if the system only supports these two, then you can support both of them or one less. Check out whether you're requiring payment in full or whether you require a deposit. We can restrict it by the products. Change the payment options, shipping options, descriptions, etc. And it's just allowing you to tailor the terms and conditions to meet the contracts for the B2B clients. The other place that we drive the configuration is on the order, for example. So if we look at our order configuration, we generate the invoice when the order is completed and we send it. So we generate and send as soon as the order is completed. You have the ability to control when during the ordering process invoices are generated and when they're sent. If we take a look at payment management, this is where we deal with the credit cards. What information do you need for what type of credit cards, etc. QuickBooks or any adapter that we have for an accounting package, configuration around that. In this case, it's the password and all of that type of stuff. Those are the basic The last section we'll talk about here is under pricing, and we can take a look here, and it defines which currencies you're supporting. So what currencies are supported in the definition of the billing accounts and in your pricing within the catalog. So that's it for an overview of billing within the context of Cloudville's Telecom 360. Thank you very much. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at sales@cloudville.com or visit our website at www.cloudville.com. Have a good day.